What's up, everybody? Ron Peter OG here with some prize picks. Today's date is 8/12/2022. Go ahead and like this video if you hadn't already done so. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and suggest to others. All those things would be greatly appreciated. But let's get right into what we're doing today. Today, I'm looking at some MLB players from the categories of total bases, hitter fantasy score, and strikeouts. I'm going to give you what I think about those players and the way we should lean on those players for tonight. So let's get right into it. The first player I'm looking at is Max Stassi, LA Angels, facing a bad pitcher tonight. His prop is 0.5. Let's kind of look at him on Props Cash to see where he's at. He's hit 0.5 60% of the time in the last 10 games. Nothing against Minnesota this year. He's hit for the last 30 days. He's hit it 50% of the time, 15 out of 30, and he's decent against right-handed pitchers. I want to see green in this highlighted lineup here. Let's see if he has any previous at-bats against this pitcher. No previous at-bats against this pitcher, but I do like what I see from about Stassi tonight. Again, not facing a good pitcher. Decent against right-handers. Let's see what he looks like on the bat. Bat got him at 1.29 total bases, 5.80 fantasy points. That is tight from what I like to see, but it's within range. I do not like the pitcher that he's facing tonight. That's one thing I don't like. So for the total bases, the player to accumulate points in total bases, the player has to get a single, double, triple, or homer. Doesn't get any points for just getting on base from a hit by pitch or a fielder's choice or a walk. So we need him to get a hit. I think he can do it. Let's go back to props. He didn't get a hit last game, what it looks like. We can narrow it down a little bit. So he's got at least one hit in 3 out of his last 5 games. Didn't get one against Oakland last game. I think he's in a good position to get a hit tonight. So that's what we need him to do. We need him to get a hit. So I'm kind of leaning toward the over on Max Stassi getting at least one hit tonight. So the second player I'm looking at is also coming from the total base section, and it's going to be Tyrone Taylor for Milwaukee, outfielder. Let's look at him in Props Cash. See his last 5, he's hit this 60% of the time. Last 10, he's hit it 50% of the time, and last 30, he's hit it 63% of the time. He is facing a left-handed pitcher. He's only faced a left-handed pitcher 81 times this season. 2 doubles, 1 triple, 2 home runs. He has no history against this pitcher. Let's see what the bat got him at. The bat got him at 1.27 total bases. And they got him at 5.49 fantasy points. And that's a little tight for what I like to see. Nothing really. I think the books Another gauge we can look at it, what the books have him at. I think the books got him at pretty good favorite to go over. .5 total bases. Let's find him on here. But it's got a minus 135 plus 105, which is just an indicator. And this really doesn't have too much to do with what I'm trying to figure out. Just kind of figure out how the books are leaning, where the money's coming in, and all that. So he's minus 135 to go over. 0.5 total bases, go under plus 105. So just an indicator to look at. It's tight, but when you get these 0.5 spreads are going to be tight, and Prizepicks are not giving out the obvious players that are going to go over 0.5 total bases. There's some obvious ones who's going to go over, but they just don't give it to you. They're not giving you the players from with the highest projected team run totals for the day. They're just not giving you some of those players. Like for example, today, Colorado, Arizona, and Houston have the 3 top run total projections for the day. You're not going to find many Colorado players, very few Arizona players. They did throw some Houston players in their fours. But so these are tight. That's what we're doing right now. We're analyzing these picks to try to see if which way we're going to lean on this player. With this one, I'm still leaning a little bit toward the over on this one. We can probably, I like the over on Woodley. So we're going to look at the over on Woodley. We're going to lean toward the over. The next player we're looking at is going to come from the total base category also, and it's going to be Nick Prato. Kansas City versus the LA Dodgers. Let's look at Prato for tonight. He's hit 0.5 43% of the time. The last 30 games. In his last 10, only 20% of the time. Last 5, only 20% of the time also, or 40% of the time. Against right-handed pitchers, he's okay. But he only has a 182 batting average against right-handers. You see the highlight line here. The pitcher he is facing tonight, let's look at him. We'll go over here at Prospect, go over here, and pitcher he's facing tonight is 13-1 with a 2.30 ERA. He has no previous meetings against this guy. Let's see what the bat got him at. That got him 1.25 total bases, 6.10 fantasy points. I don't like the pitching matchup in this one. Even though the bat is favoring him a little bit, I just don't like the pitching matchup against this guy. Let's see where Prado is at in the lineup. He's down in the middle of the lineup. Yeah, I'm not seeing. I'm not. I don't like this one to go over. I'm more leaning on this one to go under the prop of point 0.5 total basis. So I'm leaning at Nick Prato to go under the total of 0.5 total basis tonight. Don't really like that pitching matchup at all. The next player I'm looking at is also coming from the total base category, and it's going to be Eric Hall, Philadelphia. Prop projection on the night is 0.5 total basis. Let's look at Hall over here on Props Cash. In his last 5, he's hit this total 80% of the time. 80% of the time. I like the matchup against right-handers here. No history against the pitcher he's facing today. Last 30. He's hit it 67% of the time. And the bat got him at 1.33 total bases for the night, which I like. That's points of 5.82. So I like Hall to go over tonight. I'm looking at Derek Hall to go over the prop of 0.5 total bases. So now we're going to look at Juan Soto under the hitter fantasy score section. His prop for the night is 8.5. He is playing Washington tonight, his old team. So, he's going to put a little emphasis on this game. Let's go to the bat and look at his projection for tonight, which I think is pretty high. His fantasy point projection for tonight is 12 on the bat. The prop is 8.5. Let's see what Fantasy Labs got him at. I'm pretty sure he's at the top here also. They got him at 11.18 fantasy points for the night. I like Juan Soto tonight, playing his old team. The pitcher he is facing, let's check that out real quick. It also looks like he's a heavy favorite to go over his 1.5 projected total bases. But he's facing a right-handed pitcher. He's very good against right-handers, as you can see, batting .268. He hasn't faced this pitcher because he's on the team with this pitcher up until a couple weeks ago. But I like this matchup. I think Juan Soto goes over the prop of 8.5 for hitter fantasy score. The next player I'm looking at is also coming from the hitter fantasy score section, and it's going to be Shohei Ohtani, LA Angels. He's at the DH position tonight. His prop is 7.5 on the night. Again, he's facing a pitcher that is not that good tonight. Let's look at him on Props Cash and see how he fares against right against the pitcher he's facing. Facing a right-handed pitcher. That's 262 on the year against right-handers. He's had 3 plate appearances against this guy, 1 single, and slugging percentage of .333. So he's 1 for 3 against the pitcher that he's facing tonight. Let's look at him on Roto Grinders on the bat. Projection for the night is 11.21 fantasy points. We can even look at it a little deeper, see how he's done in his last few games. On the 10th, he gave us 5 fantasy points. On the 9th, he gave us 23. On the 7th, he gave us 3. Prior to that, he gave us 4. So, he hasn't been really, consistent with great fantasy point numbers. I think he's in a very good position tonight. I think he's batting. Let's see where he's batting in the lineup. He's batting second in the lineup, facing Tyler Mahle, 5-7, 4.49 ERA. And I say again, he's 1 for 3 against this pitcher. I'm leaning toward the over on this. I think he will get us over 7.5 fantasy points. So, yep, I'm leaning toward the over on this one. So the next player I'm looking at is going to come from the strikeout category, and it's going to be Michael Kopech, Chicago White Sox pitcher, going against Detroit. His prop on the night is 6 strikeouts. Let's look at him over here on Props Cash. So 6.5. Then we're looking at the last 30 games. He's only hit that 15% of the time, 3 out of 20. It looks like we do not have any. What is that? Let's see. I think he may be at 6 on Prizepicks. Yep, he's at 6. So let's adjust this to 6. Still only 17% of the time. Don't think he has nothing against Detroit. You see here, Detroit versus right-handed pitching is one of the worst in the league in K percentage. And in the last 30 days, they're the second worst in the league. We see green here is good. We see green here is good also. So here, it's got me leaning toward the over 6. Let's see how many innings he's been pitching per game. Not against just Detroit. Let's do it. So he's played Detroit. He's had Detroit 2 times, and he only got 3 and 4 strikeouts. That was early in the season, and about a month ago, he had 4 strikeouts. He pitched 4 innings in that first game, 5.33 innings in that second game. Let's see what he's done over the last 10 for innings. We even go to the last 5. Let's look at last 5 for innings. Still, he hasn't reached 6 strikeouts in none of these games. And for innings pitched, 3, 7, 5, 5, and 5. Not quite 6 innings. Even in a game where he had 7 innings on 8-1, he still didn't get us the strikeouts. And so the numbers are a little conflicting here to me. I'm gonna lean toward the under on Kopech tonight, 4 to 6 strikeouts. Let's see what the bat has him at. The bat has him at 6.48 strikeouts for tonight. We'll look at him on Fantasy Labs also. Pretty decent projection for fantasy points tonight. Let's see how this. They got him at a pretty high projection of 7.85 strikeouts for tonight. And they're probably going. I don't know how they're figuring it out, but I'm pretty sure a lot of it is based on how bad Detroit is against right-handed pitching. So the bat got him at 6.48 strikeouts. Fantasy Labs got him at 7.85 strikeouts. I don't like his history. I don't even like his history against. He did face Detroit, I say, a month back. He hasn't. Both of his performances against Detroit, either was on the road or at home, has been pretty much the same. 3 and 4 strikeouts. They are not good. Detroit is not good. Fantasy Labs say 7.85. The bat says 6.48. I'm going against all of them. I think Kopech goes under the total of 6 strikeouts for tonight. May get a push out of it, but I think he goes under. So those are a few plays that I like for tonight. Let me know what you're playing. Let me know how you're putting all your stuff together. What I usually do most nights for MLB, I get my best 3, put them in a 3-play flex, and then I just box the other 3 in 3 individual 2-play power play picks. It's a way for me to practice money management, bankroll management, and ensure myself a profit by getting 2 out of those 3 picks correct. And if I get all 3 of those picks correct, it's a huge profit on the night. I'm not here to win $1 million in one day. I'm here to win $200 a day. So that's been my strategy. I'm playing around with several other strategies, but that's what I'm doing right now, just to be totally transparent. Uh, but that is all that I have for today. Go ahead and like this video. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and suggest to others. All those things would be greatly appreciated. But until the next video, this is Ron P, the OG. Peace.